the best rewards program in the Metro.
The Showplace Theater at Riverwind is the hottest spot for live music.
Don't miss our Digital Dash giveaway every Friday in November.
Play with your wild card to win your share of over $120,000.
The best food, drinks, and service only at Riverwind.
How about this? We're hanging out with the winningest coach in OU football history, Bob Stoops, Mondays on the T-Row in the Morning Show. It's the Stoops Review with the HBC on the T-Row Show, Mondays from 7:45 to 8:30 with limited commercial interruption. Every Monday, we'll be looking back at Saturday's OU game with a guy who knows what he's looking at. Bob Stoops, the Visor, the HBC on our show every Monday. Check it out. SEC football is underway, and Balfour of Norman on Campus Corner has what you need to support your Sooners. Locally owned for more than 45 years, Balfour is a favorite for OU fans. If you're going to a game, tailgating, or attending a watch party, come see the latest in Sooner fashion. You'll find polos, tees, jerseys, jackets, and other cold weather gear, and even some bling for her. Balfour has sizes for the youngest to oldest Sooner fans, from great brands like Jordan, Nike, Champion, Antigua, Hype and Vice, Zuzats, and many others. Something for everyone. Additionally, you'll find a great selection of tailgating supplies, from serving pieces to paper plates to grilling accessories. The gift selection is beyond what you would expect with wall art, outdoor decorations, including flags and banners, OU automotive items, and even Sooner golf accessories. If it says OU, Balfour probably has it. Their friendly staff is available to help you find just what you need. So stop by and say hi on your way to the game or anytime. Or shop online at crimsonbrown.com, where you'll find everything Sooner.
Hi, this is Jack Kiker with Knippelmeyer Chevrolet, located in Blanchard, America. My grandfather, Larry Knippelmeyer, tells me everybody deserves to save money. So say goodbye to those pushy big-time dealers with all those add-ons like paint protectors, nitrogen tires, and everything else that they could possibly think of. Then come down to Knippelmeyer Chevrolet, just 15 minutes from OKC or Norman. At Knippelmeyer, we will save you money and make sure you get a good buy from a family-owned dealership that has treated customers like family for over 65 years. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Life is full of big moments, and at OU Federal Credit Union, they are happy to help you make those moments happen. Thinking of buying a home? OUFCU offers mortgage loans with competitive rates and flexible terms. If you already own a home, their home equity loans can help you make those much-needed renovations or pay off high-interest debt. But it's not about the loans, it's about the people. Ready to make the next step toward your dreams? Visit OU Federal Credit Union today. Your home sweet loan is just around the corner. Member savings insured up to $250,000 by NCUA.
Is your pool ready for a refresh? At Signature Custom Pools, we turn your visions into reality. Whether it's a sleek, modern redesign or a luxurious new addition for next season, our expert team creates pools tailored to your lifestyle. Dive into elegance and enhance your home's beauty. Call them for a free consultation at 405-898-9098 or visit them online at signaturecustompools.com so you can make your dream pool a reality with a splash next season.
The Ref Radio Sports Network is powered statewide by the insurance adjusters at Brown O'Haver. Fire, wind, theft, or tornado, we can help. Call 405-735-5510. Live from the Buffalo Wild Wing Studios, it's time to get locked in to the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino calling line at 405-329-9000. Text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
I believe the final count was 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 18 seconds for Brent Venables at the podium today. Longest press conference of the season, and got to be one of the longest, if not the longest, of his entire career thus far. A lot was said, a lot of different topics covered, but what was the number one overall thing? What were the main highlights, in case you missed all 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 18 seconds, of what Brent Venables has to say? Was it that Sexton will be out, quote, a little while?
That longer than a little while.
Isaiah Autry basically promoted from the scout team. That Gentry Williams is out for the entire year, which I think we already knew that anyway. Bill Bedenbaugh being one of the best offensive line coaches in the country, kind of how he feels about NIL and where OU's NIL was at. What was the highlight that we heard in the hour-plus press conference today?
I mean, I think you hit all the important things. I don't know that there was one highlight. It was, I would say less informative in the sense that I don't feel like Brent Venables told us anything we didn't already know. Even the Isaiah Autry-Dent stuff he talked about in his press conference, or not his press conference, but his coach's show last night.
Yep.
It was just Brent went very in-depth and got long-winded at times on a wide variety of topics. We got some anecdotes at a certain point. He was talking about the 1996 K-State versus Texas Tech game.
Oh, is that the first Big 12 game ever?
First Big 12 game ever. First Big 12 game for Brent Venables as linebackers coach at K-State. He was 26 years old. So yeah, I'll be honest, Tyler. My head's kind of swimming trying to recall all of what happened over that hour and 6 minutes and 18 seconds.
I got another. Actually, I got a couple more for you.
Okay,
one. Sean just texted me this one, and just a little bit of a hint. It will open as the audio clip at the top of the 3 o'clock hour because I already cut it. The part where he says in mid-sentence, "You can't crap a tackle mid-season." Sean's saying that was his highlight.
Some interesting phrasing there.
Can't crap a tackle mid-season. And then he dropped a 4-letter word. Have we ever heard Brent drop a 4-letter word at a press conference setting today? That happened.
I don't feel like that's the first time that's happened.
I can't remember the other time, I guess. How about it?
It was kind of like a blink and you miss it type of thing, though.
Oh, everyone around here, I mean, maybe everyone was listening really close to hear what he had to say today, but we were all like, whoa, yeah. I had like a bunch of kids around here that had heard the word for the first time when he said it today. Yeah, man.
That's how you know he listens to the ref, too.
Yeah.
He knows it's acceptable on these
12
airwaves.
to 2, yeah, he definitely listens. He's like, well, I can throw this audio clip out on the air and nothing's going to happen. I've heard that before, courtesy of Nick Saban. Yeah, it was a lot there. 1 hour, 6 minutes, 18 seconds. 405-651-3439 is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Someone else from the 918 saying that we don't just crap out tackles was their highlight as well. Yeah, I don't worry, I got that audio clip today. Blue of Green Country said, did Brent say anything about Jacoby Johnson? Man, I don't remember anything about Jacoby Johnson today. Do you? I mean, he mentioned young defensive backs, but that was more true freshman defensive backs. I don't remember anything about Jacoby Johnson today.
It's like Jacoby Johnson is just kind of invisible to this program, which is unfortunate because he's a very, very talented athlete and a guy that should be playing and playing frequently at either cornerback or wide receiver. But no, I don't think Brent has been asked a question about Jacoby Johnson. To be fair, we didn't get as many questions with Brent Venables as we typically get in today's press conference. I think it topped out at, 12, 13 total questions? Usually you get 20 or so, but we only got 12 or 13 today.
Let's see. OU Optimist, the only thing he didn't make an excuse was for Jacob Sexton's dad. So that continues to be a very popular sentiment on the text line. When he was asked about, because you and I have had this conversation. I think that we had it again yesterday. It's, very interested to see how Jackson Arnold finishes out the season as a starter, because what happens at quarterback for the rest of the year, even though I think a lot of people feel like the season is kind of lost at this point, what happens at quarterback is going to be very, very important moving forward for an extremely critical 2025 season for the head coach in the program, right? And Jackson Arnold took a step forward on Saturday, but you need to continue to see him take more and more steps forward as the season comes to a close. And Barry Trammell kind of essentially asked, just kind of with that conversation, like moving forward, NIL to keep him, all this stuff like that. And paraphrasing a little bit, but Brent said, we've got good NIL, but at the end of the day for me, I want guys that want to be here because they want to put on the crimson and cream. That's where it starts with me. I believe the guys in our locker room, that they love meeting that criteria, and I believe that firmly.
Yeah. By the way, good point from Dan in Madison, Mississippi on the text line. He said Brent mentioned that Jacoby had some hamstring tightness late in the game on Saturday. So I guess later on in that football game, he was battling some hamstring tightness. Did you get the chance to meet Dan when we were out at Ole Miss?
More than once. We got.
He did a segment with you, didn't he?
Well, us, me and you. segment with us. His granddaughter did a segment with us in the postgame show. She said that OU will win 7 games this year in the regular season, which made me
a little bit optimistic.
Made me very, very happy. Very, very happy. Oh, yeah, Dan and I mean, we basically hung out all weekend. It was awesome. Awesome guy. Big fan of him. But how about this? I'm going to throw this randomly at you, and I'm going to throw it randomly at the text line. And there is a long way to go. I don't think that we're necessarily at a for sure answer. But let's look ahead for a second to the season opener in 2025. Who's OU starting quarterback?
I have no idea.
Season opener
Tyler.
in 2025.
I have no idea. All we have right now are guesses because, as I said last hour, I truly don't think you can move forward right now with the assumption that any singular individual is certainly OU starting quarterback in 2025, whether Jackson Arnold or Michael Hawkins or anybody else, because I think there's going to have to be competition. Whoever is OU's starting quarterback to open the 2025 season will have had to earn that job. And who knows, with a whole off season to battle it out, the example I brought up was what happens if you go hire Joe Craddock from Tulane as your offensive coordinator, and he wants to bring in Darian Mensah.
Good player.
What if you have a 3-way battle between, say, Hawkins, Arnold, and Darian Mensah? First off, all 3 of those guys definitely aren't sticking around on the same depth chart. But there's really no way of knowing because we have no idea how that battle is going to swing, even if it is just Hawkins and Arnold that are theoretically battling, because, heck, we've seen one of them get benched for the other, and then the other get benched for the first.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's kind of the point that I wanted to bring up, too. Like, there is absolutely a chance. I don't know if it's a greater than 50% chance. It's hard to handicap the exact odds right now. You're really just guessing. But is there a chance that you're starting quarterback in 2025, again, a year that feels like it's very important for the program and very important for Brent Venables, that the starting quarterback isn't even on the roster right now? I think that possibility currently exists. And again, to bring up the conversation we've already had a couple of times, that's why to me, even though you're just kind of trying to get to 6 wins at this point, the final 4 games and the quarterback play to me is very interesting because I agree with you today. It's hard to say who that is, and we've already seen a couple of quarterback changes, so I don't think that you can just say with 100% certainty that Jackson Arnold starts every game for the rest of the year. But maybe we get to a spot, if he plays well enough, coming out of the month of November where we say, well, we'll still see what happens with this OC hire. We'll still see what happens in the transfer portal. But Jackson Arnold maybe at least did enough to be looked at as the front runner heading into the offseason for the starting quarterback. But he's got to play well enough for that even to be the case. Because I don't think either of the 2 quarterbacks at this point have just played so well that it's, yeah, that guy without a doubt's the front runner for QB1 next year.
Yeah, well, and, it's easy to be a prisoner of the moment right now after Jackson Arnold played so well against Ole Miss. But, for instance, I think we all were prisoners of the moment after the Auburn game.
So, yeah,
after Michael Hawkins.
Charged, hand raised
after
right
Michael
here.
Hawkins performed the way that he did, we all figured, all right, there it is. Like, that's your guy. And that was Oklahoma's guy. Like, they endured some struggles with him. Certainly in that Texas game and then at the front end of that South Carolina game before it just became obvious that, okay, 3 straight turnovers, 3 straight possessions, you got to pull them off the field. You got to go back to Arnold. I noticed you didn't mention Brendan Zerbrug's name at all.
Sorry, just disrespectful. I apologize to the Zerbrug family and he individually. You want to throw him in the you want to put him as the front runner for 25?
You're gonna have Kevin Sperry on the roster too, so. You could, if you go grab a portal guy, and I think you'll probably need a portal guy, if only for the sake of experience. You'll want to go grab a vet, to me. You could be carrying 5 scholarship quarterbacks on this roster.
Yeah. OU Optimist says, where's OU Optimist at?
Here he is. Mensah will be an SEC or Big Ten starter next year. I'm all for it being OU.
He's going to have some opportunities, that's for sure. Randomly checked in on Tulane today. They have not lost since that Oklahoma game. I believe they are 6-2 right now. They're not one of the front runners to get that non-Power 4 playoff spot. I don't think that they'll get there, but they got some interesting games remaining. They would definitely have to win out to even be in consideration.
So their 2 losses are K-State and OU?
Yep.
That'll play. That's a good, solid resume right there.
Jimmy and BA says JFA will be QB1 in 2025. Reform Sooner says 90% Jackson Arnold is the starting quarterback. Michael and Marlowe says starting quarterback for 2025 isn't on the roster right now.
Which is perfect evidence of my point. Nobody is in agreement on who OU's starting quarterback is to open the season in 2025. Opinions are going to be all over the board because the answer isn't clear. Like, the answer isn't staring you in the face right now. At this time last year, it seemed like it was. It seemed like, okay, Jackson Arnold is the guy for the 2024 season, and it started out that way, and then one thing leads to another, and you're flip-flopping with your quarterbacks between Arnold and Hawkins. But I do think it would be a disservice to the program and to all of the quarterbacks involved, however many they may be, to go ahead and tab a starter prematurely, to act in spring as if, well, Jackson Arnold's our guy or Michael Hawkins is our guy. No, this is going to have to be a legitimate battle. It's going to have to be a meritocracy. You're going to have to let these guys duke it out on the practice field all the way through August.
From the 405, Jackson and Joe John is the offensive coordinator. Got to tell you, I'm pretty surprised. That's the second day in a row I've gotten a text where Joe John is going to be the offensive coordinator next year. I don't think Joe John is going to be the offensive coordinator next year. I think the decision is already made for a national search, and I think that search is in some ways already ongoing for the next offensive coordinator.
Derek in Wichita Falls said, wow, the Steel Wassel disrespect is real.
That's true.
He's playing
Come
tight
on.
end. He's playing tight end.
Well, he can always move back to QB if need be. 405, if BV wants to make it past next season, his QB isn't on the roster. JA is not the answer unless he gets a lot better in the offseason.
Which does happen, mind you. Sometimes players get a lot better in the span of an offseason. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Jackson Arnold could be meteorically improved or Michael Hawkins could be meteorically improved given another offseason at Oklahoma to hammer out the imperfections, if you will.
580, the new OC will decide on who the starter will be at quarterback, and I mean you're going to give him a lot of power, I'm sure, as the offensive coordinator in a very critical year. So I would tend to agree with that. Blue says open QB battle until next August. Cherokee Sooner wants to know if Freddie Freeman can play on the offensive line. Do you think Freddie, who may be the World Series MVP and probably has been up to this point, do you think they can get old Fred to play at left tackle?
He went straight to the majors out of high school, right? So, or
From
not
Canada,
straight to the majors,
correct?
but straight to the pro ranks. So he's got college eligibility. Let's see if you could coax him into taking a scholarship to come play left tackle.
Mississippi pot roast. Andy Koltonicki should be the first call. Make him tell you no. Look, if you want to call him and make him tell you no, then you can absolutely do that. They have a massive game against Ohio State coming up on Saturday. I believe they're a slight underdog. I think Drew Aller may not play. Whatever. There's a chance Andy Koltonicki, if not staying at Penn State next year and getting a massive pay raise, could be a head coach next season. So I'd want to make the call too, just to see what he says, but I wouldn't get my hopes up about that guy.
Well, and here's the thing that nobody, I think, wants to reckon with. If Koltonicki is your dream scenario as far as the OC hire, how many OCs are going to leave a situation, especially if Penn State wins this weekend? If they beat Ohio State, that team's going to garner first place votes in the AP poll.
And probably going to make it to the play. A great situation to make the playoff.
Are you going to make a lateral move at best / take a step down, as many would perceive it, to go from a program that is right now undefeated and right there in the thick of the college football playoff hunt to step into a situation where the head coach is probably coming into the season on the hot seat? Maybe you made a bowl game, maybe you didn't. Sure, you could get a raise, but are you better off leaving Penn State, or are you better off just sticking it out with James Franklin for another year and putting yourself in an even better position to perhaps be a head coach if that opportunity doesn't arise this coming winter?
Yeah, well, headed to a school with a coach on the hot seat, when you got a pretty good situation where you're at, I don't feel like you tend to see that all that much. Really kind of over the years. Maybe there's some examples, but one doesn't immediately come to mind for me. Josh in Tulsa says, Tyler and Parker, put them on an even platform NIL-wise or close to the teams you want to beat and see what happens. They have to, but not until last offseason. That's what it comes down to in the end. Blow it up and keep things the same and expect the same results, even with Nick Saban as coach or whatever you want or whoever you want to put in there. 580, the dream hire is Cliff Kingsbury, and someone else says Sunbelt Billy for the OC. That's a texter from the 405. We continue to be all over the place for the next offensive coordinator hire. Billy Napier, who I'm guessing they're still going to fire him at the end of the season. I don't know, but what are they, like one win from a bowl game now? They have 5 wins?
Do they really have
Are
5
they 5
wins?
and 3?
Holy
Playing
smokes.
Georgia this week? Let me make
Dang.
sure on that.
So Billy stepped into the octagon with the Grim Reaper and landed a couple punches, it would appear.
Yeah, they've very quietly, I don't know if they've exceeded expectations just yet. They're 4-3 right now, not 5-3.
Okay, 4-3. Like, let's just get it straight. Cliff Kingsbury would be a miracle of a hire. Andy Kotelnicki would be a miracle of a hire. I would advise all of you to think realistically. Sure, it's fine to have a pipe dream scenario. I think everybody does. But think realistically, because realistically, you're not hiring somebody like Kingsbury. You're not hiring somebody like Kotelnicki. You may not even be hiring somebody like G.J. Kinney, who would make a lot of sense for the role, but is an established head coach at the FBS level.
405-651-3439, Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Check us out on YouTube as well, KREF Sports. Go follow us there. We'll get to more text, more YouTube comments, more OU Crootin right here on the Ref.
The word is spreading, and the Ref Army is growing. Keep telling your friends and family that there's only one station for true Sooner fans, and that's the Ref Radio Sports Network, and worldwide on the KREF app.
Do you like to stand out in a crowd while wearing the best in OU apparel? The Jimmy Austin Pro Shop carries the best brands you can wear to work or even dress up events. Lines such as Lululemon, Travis Matthew, FootJoy, Greg Norman, Grayson, or Turtleson with the OU and Jimmy Austin logo are sure to catch everyone's eye. You don't have to be a golfer to shop at Jimmy Austin. They also do corporate special orders for you and your company. Call them today, 405-325-6716, or visit theougolfclub.com for more information.
Hi, this is Lisa Talley, broker and owner of Aria Real Estate Group. Aria Real Estate Group is Norman's premier full-service commercial and residential real estate brokerage and leasing and management firm. With our team of real estate agents, specialized property managers, and in-house maintenance team, Aria is here for you in every capacity. Whether you're a seller, a buyer, an investor, or a renter, we can help. Please explore our website at ariagroupok.com. Aria Real Estate Group, the gold standard of real estate.
Hi, I'm Barry Switzer. We have a very important Senate race here in the Sooner Nation, and I'm encouraging you to go out Tuesday and vote for my friend Lisa Standridge. We need a bold and strong leader with true class, and most importantly, Lisa is Sooner born and Sooner bred. Join me and elect a champion. Vote for Lisa Standridge for State Senate.
Vote Lisa Standridge on Tuesday, November 5th, paid for by Lisa Standridge for State Senate 2024.
Somewhere there's a river rushing through the woods while someone rushes through their day. There's a mountain looking up at the sky while someone looks down at their phone. A trail waiting to be walked while someone waits for a latte. This world is full of somewheres waiting for someone just like you. So go see yours at 154 national forests and 20 grasslands. And to learn more, visit nationalforest.org. The National Forest Foundation. See your somewhere.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Ready to transform your backyard into a stunning oasis? At Deckworks, we specialize in high-end decks, patios, pergolas, gazebos, and other outdoor living experiences. With over 30 years of unmatched craftsmanship, we bring your backyard dreams to life. From luxurious decks to serene landscape gardens, experience the difference that only 30 years of dedication can deliver. Visit Deckworks.com, a Brent Swift company. Deckworks, where your dream backyard becomes reality.
So you want to create your future, discover a path worth traveling down, find a career to get excited about. For decades, Moore Norman Tech has been training talented, skilled individuals, empowering them to step into a career that fuels not only their life, but the Oklahoma workforce. These individuals are the heartbeat of this state's economy. Individuals just like you. Create your future today at Moore Norman Tech.
Locked in with McComas and Thune, live on the Ref for the Homa Sooner fans. Tyler McComas, Parker Thune, the Ref Army listening worldwide as well via the free KREF app. Just search KREF in the App Store. Honolulu, Hawaii is tuned in today. El Paso, Texas. Palm City, Florida. Laramie, Wyoming. Springfield, Illinois. Cape May, New Jersey. Manchester, New Hampshire. And Memphis, Tennessee, all tuned in via the KREF app. And our Ref Army Locators brought to you by Affordable Door Company, where they compromise on the price but not on the quality. Visit them online at affordabledoor.net. That's affordabledoor.net, or call 405-635-9499. The good news today about the Ref Army Locator, there are a lot of people listening in the Northeast today. No one's listening from the state of Maine.
Not a single person?
Does
Wow,
that-
they
does that
already
mean
have
they're
this
not
one
concerned?
chalked up in the lost column.
Okay.
They've already waved the white flag.
Okay, good. Good, that's good to hear.
How many folks do you think Maine Stadium holds?
12.
I'm gonna get you an answer right now. Maine Football Stadium, Alfond Stadium, multi-purpose stadium in Orono, Maine. It holds 10,000 people.
Wow. Is that really the name? Is multi-purpose really in their stadium name?
No, it is officially known as the Harold Alfond Sports Stadium.
Oh, okay. I'll shorten it down a little bit there, guys.
It has been standing since 1946.
Do
Impressive.
you know who the most famous alum of Maine is?
The most famous alum of Maine? No, should I?
Stephen King. I looked it up today.
Really?
Stephen King. You think maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maine. That's it. That's what they got. I looked and tried to find more famous alums, and that's really all I could find. 405-651-3439. OU did drop a spot in the Rivals recruiting rankings. They're down from 7 to 8. Odds that OU ends with a top 10 recruiting class, with USC at 9 and Texas A&M at 10.
Still feel good about it. You don't really have to worry about USC. I think that class is about to come apart.
Yeah, well, their quarterback commit was at Colorado this weekend.
And he's not the only commit of theirs that's shopping around.
Interesting. Well, at least they're closing practice out at USC. They're closing practice to the media for the rest of the year. So, what are they, 4-4, I think, this season now? Closing up shop out there in L.A. to everyone, to all the media there.
It will never not be hilarious to me that Muleshoe, an individual who despises media scrutiny of any kind, decided to up and leave for the number 2 media market in the entire country.
Yeah, agree. Caleb Burns, still a Baylor commit. Saw UCLA offered about 8 days ago or so. What's OU's situation with Caleb Burns after he didn't make it to the South Carolina game, but still has the Alabama game down, right, as an official visit?
Yep, still going to be in town on November 23rd, so OU will get their shot, and they get one shot at this point. Shout out Eminem. They get one shot at Caleb Burns.
Don't miss it.
Exactly. Oregon made a charge. The distance factor is still going to be what holds the Ducks back. I don't think it's an insurmountable hill for Oregon to climb, but it does put Oklahoma at a bit of an advantage in that process, and you got to make it count when he comes to town on November 23rd. What does that look like? I don't know, Tyler, because they're not winning that football game. They're not beating Alabama.
If so, like, people might actually rush the field at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. We might have reached that territory.
Goalposts are going down. They're going down Campus Corner if they beat Alabama, and maybe it'll get them that 6th win. Parker Thune calling it right now. Goalposts are coming down. Any visitors on the books for this weekend, officially, unofficially? I would guess this wouldn't be a massive recruiting visit weekend, but I guess you never know in 26 and 27.
Yeah, hey, why don't you drive on in and watch us play Maine? To be honest, Tyler, this is not a game that I would want recruits at.
Well, it's supposed to rain, too, right?
Oklahoma. Crappy weather. Your football team is not playing well. You have an FCS opponent coming to town. And there is a very real chance that your sellout streak that has subsisted for 25 years ends this weekend.
I think it'll continue on. You know how it works. Someone will buy up the remaining. Like, not every.
Oh, sure, yeah.
There won't be a button every single seat, but
Bingo.
It
Are there going to be 84,000 people in that building on Saturday?
No.
Probably not.
310, State of California. If LR misses a day of practice in November, we know he's interviewing somewhere. That leopard doesn't change his spots.
Oh, man, it is almost time. When the calendar turns to November, you got to be on the lookout for that personal day.
Maybe he'll be in Chicago at some point. Maybe he's trying to get himself that job. I guess we'll see. Cherokee Sooner says, if we beat Bama, I'll jump naked into Lake Thunderbird. Take your word for it, Cherokee Sooner. Please, no video evidence of that one, all right? OU Optimist says Oklahoma will beat Oklahoma when OU plays Alabama. I'm going to guess some people are tired of hearing that. Oklahoma beat Oklahoma.
Yeah, no, I'm going to issue a bold prediction right now. Alabama will beat Oklahoma.
Steve King is a wacko liberal. He doesn't count, says a texter from Georgia. Blue says, how big of a check is Joe C. writing to Maine football? I think maybe that was released in the offseason. I can't remember.
It's like
honestly.
$800K, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that much.
Frisco Sooner, guys, everyone has to be honest with themselves. With the NIL, transfer portal, and move to the SEC, OU may not be the job it used to be. It may no longer be a top 10 job. That's hard to say, but this is what the higher-ups allowed to happen when they embrace the NIL. Still, I still think OU's a great job. I still think OU is a top 10 job. Just because it hasn't gone well the past 3 years with this staff, I don't think it necessarily changes the fact of how good or how bad of a job OU is. You're still in great proximity to some big-time recruits. I mean, you're still seeing them recruit in the top 10 virtually every single year. You're in the conference that you want to be in. Facilities-wise, you're in a good spot. I guess I don't look at all of this and just say, oh, crap, OU's not as good of a job as it used. I still think it's a very, very good job where you can do a lot of good things.
I agree with that, but I don't know how popular of a take this is going to be. I don't know if I could say confidently right now that OU is still a top 10 job in college football because of the way that the game has changed the last 3 or 4 years. Like, there are some jobs, right, that are very obviously superior. Georgia, Alabama, say Ohio State. But then there are jobs, I think Texas A&M is a perfect example. This was a huge topic of conversation in the offseason because I believe it was Josh Pate that tweeted, A&M is a better job than Oklahoma. And I might be inclined to agree with him on that, Tyler, because what you know is that if you take the head coaching job at Texas A&M, like Mike Elko has done, you're going to have a ton of resources at your disposal. You're going to have an astronomical amount of fan support, and you're also going to have an enormous NIL budget. And as long as you, the coach, can establish the culture and keep it consistent, then a large enough NIL budget, like that is, it feels so simplistic, almost oversimplified.
But who's really been able to do that there? And I guess that's where I kind of get confused in the whole jobs list. All that is, okay, well, if A&M's a better job, why haven't they done a damn thing since 1939, like winning a national championship? They haven't really won a lot of conference championships either. Like Oklahoma has lapped Texas A&M continually.
Oh, yeah.
And we are in a different era of the sport, and you've got to acknowledge that, no doubt. But when people think of best jobs, they think of money, and they think of resources and recruiting area, and that's all legit. But I got to think of like administration as well too. You know, And Oklahoma's had over the years, really good administration that doesn't necessarily always get in the way of the head coach and kind of lets, for the most part, the head coach to do their thing. I just think that there's a lot more to the best jobs list, and I think that you do have to look at history than what is normally presented with those arguments.
Well, and I guess maybe the distinction I would make there is better job doesn't necessarily equal better program, because Oklahoma is objectively, by every measure, a better program than Texas A&M. But right now, today, I think there is certainly an argument to be made that because of all of the resources that would be poured into your program at a place like Texas A&M if you took that job, I think there's certainly a case to be made that that is a better vacancy. Well, it's not currently a vacancy, but that would be a better opportunity right now in 2024.
405 texter, my good friend trains one of Lincoln's receivers. He was at Auburn last year, not going to say his name, but he went to visit him this weekend. I will tell you this, LR is not liked in that locker room.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking. You're telling me Lincoln Riley isn't a player's coach?
Doesn't sound like it. Tyler has to realize we haven't done anything since NIL has come around. That's a text from the 918. That is absolutely not true. I remember just this last offseason, everyone wanted Dominic Williams. Texas wanted Dominic Williams. Yeah. LSU wanted Dominic Williams. Mizzou wanted Dominic Williams. He was easily one of the best defensive players that was in the portal, and OU won out on that deal. Yeah, it sounds like Mom loved Todd Bates and everything, but it sounded like OU ponied up to get Dominic Williams. And that's the best example that there probably is, but I think it's absolutely false to say that OU's done nothing since NIL has come around.
Yeah, well, and that's, quite frankly, the thing that Oklahoma is going to have to do more of in the coming years if they want to solidify their status as one of the elite jobs in college football for the future, not just the past. A listener in Texas asked, how does a college like Oklahoma not have the same resources as Texas A&M? I think it's pretty simple. You have a smaller alumni base, and you got a lot, there are a lot of people in that A&M community that are very, very, very wealthy.
They got a lot of money there, there's no doubt.
And the cult dynamic in College Station certainly helps. There's not a cult dynamic at Oklahoma. There's not a cult dynamic a lot of places. But people who graduated from Texas A&M, man, there are very few things in life they care about more than the success of Texas A&M University athletics.
5-star Randy, are there any offensive coordinators that have a system that can work without blocking? Do we know any of those? An OC that says, blocking? Huh? That's important? Nah, I got this system that nobody else runs that can score points, get yards, do everything that you need without blocking. Is there anybody out there that can do that? Can we vet those candidates, please? Or is it a must with any system that you must be able to block up front to move the ball?
Well, and you're seeing it right now. Right? When you can't block, you can't do much of anything offensively. That is kind of the one prerequisite. You can find a way to manufacture success on offense if you don't have a stellar quarterback. You can find ways to manufacture success if you don't have a strong running game. You can find ways to manufacture success even if your wide receivers aren't all that good at creating separation and making game-changing plays. The one thing you can't really scheme around is a deficient offensive line.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Well, and especially in this league, too. Like, you've been in a league for a while that you've been able to hide certain things or maybe, hide certain play. Like in this league, and we're finding it out, if you've got a weak spot, and especially up front, it's going to get exposed, man. It's going to get exposed week after week after week. Alex from Manford says, also people look at NIL and think transfer portal in high school. NIL kept Stutzman and Bowman from jetting to the league.
Excellent point. And again, the Sooners ponied up to keep Stutzman around. They ponied up to keep Bowman around. They ponied up to get Dominic Williams on board, and that's great. But it's going to have to be a lot more of that in the coming years if you want to build a championship caliber roster. And I think certainly you have pieces right now that you can develop, but the question is Brent Venables going to have enough time to develop all those guys if he and the program don't make the requisite maneuvers in the transfer portal this offseason to win in 2025. CC and Ada says, tax the weed growers.
That is actually a fantastic idea. Weed built, huh? You want to be a weed built program? Whatever it takes to win. Have a giant marijuana leaf at the at midfield there.
THC Field at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium.
How about this text from Darren in Tampa, Florida?
Oh, okay.
The most annoying person in the world is an A&M grad who is also a vegan CrossFitter. I gotta say, I know some A&M grads. I actually have two in my neighborhood, shockingly enough.
Really?
I don't think either of those A&M grads are also vegan CrossFitters.
Like, I'm wondering,
but I'll have to check.
Is this just like a stereotype, or is Darren thinking of a specific person?
I have no idea. I thought it was worth reading, regardless. All right, 405-651-3439, Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. More texts like that about A&M grads who are vegan CrossFitters, early feel on OU Maine. Oh, yeah, and a lot more right here on The Ref.
Get ready for a big weekend of college football. Coach Stoops here. Join me Thursday afternoons at 4:45 on The Rush with Tyler and Teddy. We'll preview the weekend slate of games and give lots of predictions. Listen live on the radio and anywhere in the world on the KREF app.
This is Mark Van Hoos, owner of Van Hoos Fence. Van Hoos Fence has years of experience and proven superior performance, kind of like a certain head ball coach.
We know Van Hoos Fence offers the best value and service for your residential, commercial, or sports fencing needs. Whether it's a new install or repair work, let Mark and his team at Van Hoos Fence be your trusted resource.
Call us today at 405-735-1167.
Save yourself from Googling it up. Go to vhfence.com. They will work with you in a great way.
The Mont invites you to come by and enjoy our high-quality food and drinks in our historic atmosphere. The Mont has won numerous awards, including Best Restaurant in Norman, Best Appetizer for our great queso, Best Exotic Drink for the original swirl, the Best Patio Dining for our beautifully landscaped patio. Come see the Town Tavern OU football scoreboards dating back to 1947. We'll see you at the Mont on the corner of Boyd and Classen, or call us at 329-3330.
Hi, this is Monty Markham. Today I want to talk to you about Jonathan Wilk, who's a Republican running for House District 20. I've known Jonathan and his family all my life and have watched him become a true leader in our community. He's been a firefighter, small business owner, and cattle rancher. He's one of us. He's been born and raised in Oklahoma with deep roots in District 20. Jonathan knows what it will take to keep our conservative values in the Sooner State. Vote for Jonathan Wilk on November the 5th, paid for by Wilk House District 2020-2024.
Hi, this is Jack Kiker with Knippelmeyer Chevrolet, located in Blanchard, America. My grandfather, Larry Knippelmeyer, tells me everybody deserves to save money, so say goodbye to those pushy big-time dealers with all those add-ons like paint protectors, nitrogen tires, and everything else that they could possibly think of. Then come down to Knippelmeyer Chevrolet, just 15 minutes from OKC or Norman. At Knippelmeyer, we will save you money and make sure you get a good buy from a family-owned dealership that has treated customers like family for over 65 years. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you. Donate at V.org, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Life is yours to spend. Spend it expanding your balance. Spend it expanding your mind. Spend it wondering what comes next. Spend it trusting that God has a plan. Spend it taking small steps in your own life. Spend it making a big impact on someone else's. First United Bank. Spend life wisely.
Signature Custom Pools creates more than just stunning pools. We create unforgettable memories. Our expert team designs unique, luxurious pools tailored to your vision and ensuring exceptional service every step of the way. Dive into elegance and make lasting memories with those you cherish the most. Plan now for next season and call Signature Custom Pools for a free consultation today at 405-898-9098 or visit them online at signaturecustompools.com today.
Dorsey Jones Buick GMC in El Reno bringing this hour of Locked In with McComas and Thune. Dorsey Jones is family owned and operated, established in 2020, but many of their employees have been there for more than 20 years. They pride themselves on having the best service technicians and friendly service advisors that put your needs first. They also have half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Go check them out in El Reno. It's Dorsey Jones Buick GMC. Reading this story on 24/7 Sports, college football's most disappointing five-star freshman from recent recruiting classes. Malachi Nelson is on there, currently
Malachi
at Boise.
Nelson is atop that list.
Micah Hudson's on there, true freshman at Tech, who's not getting to play a whole lot right now, like 8 catches for 123 yards.
Can you put a guy on that list if it's still his true freshman season?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just wondering if, most of these kind of feel like they're too early.
Yeah, very premature.
Dante Moore is on here. Well, he started last year at UCLA. He's behind Dylan Gabriel, who has the best odds to win the Heisman
Well,
right
and everybody knew he was going to be behind Dylan Gabriel, right? Like, nobody had the expectation he was going to start for Oregon this year.
And then there's Jackson Arnold, who was on this list. Most disappointing five-star freshman from recent recruiting classes. Is it too early to say that Jackson Arnold belongs on a list like this, or have we seen enough to say, yeah, he belongs?
Okay, well, I would say this. Yes, as of right this second, I think Jackson Arnold has a place on that list. But like many of the other names that you mentioned, he's also got a lot of time left ahead of him to redeem himself, if you will, and erase his name from that list. The same can be said for Dante Moore. Certainly the same can be said for Micah Hudson. I don't know what the future holds for Malachi Nelson, but it ought to be acknowledged that although Jackson Arnold has struggled in 2024, the young man still has a ton of football ahead of him and potentially a ton of good football.
Cormani McClain is on here. Nick Harbor at South Carolina is on here. Lance Hurd at Tennessee, currently on here. Cam Coleman at Auburn is on here. Okay.
What?
Interesting.
What in the world?
Yeah. There's some names on here that
it's
way early,
I would say
guys.
it is generally far too early to be making a list like that if you're looking back at the 23 and 24 recruiting cycles. Cormani McClain certainly belongs on that list because he barely played at Colorado as a freshman and then ended up having to walk on at Florida because his grades were so bad that he couldn't go anywhere on scholarship.
405, what about Winery at Mizzou? Not on that list. Honestly,
he's barely played.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't feel like he's played that much. Not that I've watched a ton of Mizzou this year. Will next week, getting ready for that game. Sooner Smitty says, what happened to Devon Mitchell? Nothing's happened to him. He's still on the team. He's just not playing right now.
Scout team.
Yep.
That's where he's at.
Partner with the Saudis, says a texter from the 405.
I laughed so hard I hiccuped.
Weed in the Middle East is what we got so
weed
far.
In the Middle East. Somebody, Cherokee Sooner said Gunny for president of the Weed NIL Collective.
I mean, come on. We were all thinking the same thing, right? We were all thinking that. We all were. Blue says, once again, if they can find $44 million for a possible buyout for Venables, then they can damn sure find enough NIL money to be successful for OU football. Fair point. At least it seems like a fair point to me.
Yeah, but can you have your cake and eat it too? Can you afford to get rid of Brent Venables at some point in the near future and still be able to compete immediately on that type of scale? That's why I think this offseason is so pivotal because obviously, Tyler, if you want to see this thing surge under Brent Venables, it's got to all come together this offseason because if you don't win in 2025, you're really not going to have much of a choice but to start from scratch with a new coach.
580, we could have sure used Savion Byrd this year. Is he even playing at SMU right now?
What? No, trust me. Savion Byrd would not be helping this football program.
Yeah, he couldn't help the football program last year.
I promise you.
I don't think he's helping SMU out
Yeah,
this year.
I promise you, and I know more than a few folks down there at SMU, Savion Byrd would not be helping this football program right now.
What's our early feel for the OU Maine game on Saturday? 1:30 on the SEC Network Plus. OU minus 34.5, I think is what the line still is right now.
Win, no cover.
There are still some people that are legitimately concerned that OU is going to lose this game on Saturday.
I'm not legitimately concerned they're going to lose the game. I don't think they're going to cover.
I would probably take Maine in the points as of this very moment.
It'll be like a 31-0 game. Maine will muster absolutely nothing against this defense, but do you trust the offense to score 34 points
At this given, well, they got to score 35 to cover the thing. At this very moment, it's hard for me to currently get there. Unity uniform weekends.
Is that what it is?
Well, I don't know. They haven't said that, but they said before the year that the Rough Riders are gone. The Unity uniforms will still wear that. I'm gonna guess they don't wear them for the Alabama game, and they wear them this weekend against Maine. That's just a guess by me.
It's a good guess. I haven't looked into that. I might have to now.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's probably what's gonna happen on Saturday.
Oh, you optimist on the text line said, "Hell yes, we need more holding penalties. Bring back Savion Byrd." That's what that guy was always good for. Anytime he was out there on the field, if it wasn't holding, it was unnecessary roughness.
405 is Caden Green benched. He did get benched earlier in the year.
Yes.
Is he back to? I didn't watch any of that Alabama game because there was no reason to. I'll watch it next week. Getting ready for Mizzou. Okay, Frisco Sooner, quick question for you guys. What is a realistic expectation for attendance this weekend? 55 to 60K? That's a bit of a tough question. Like, if you want to look at it at actual butts and seats, you may be able to estimate that. But there's a lot of people who don't go to the game, and they ask other people, hey, will you at least scan my ticket? Hey, man, will you at least, use these and scan my tickets? So I bet the actual tickets scanned will be north of 60,000. But actual butts and seats, clearly it's not going to be very impressive.
I would expect that it will be the worst attended OU home football game in quite some time, given the circumstances.
Could be.
By the way, this is completely off topic, but this is hilarious. The latter-day Jameis Winston might be the most hilarious man in all of sports. And by no means am I looking past his misdeeds and alleged misdeeds in his younger days. But, the Jameis Winston of 2019 and beyond is absolutely iconic. I just came across this graphic on my Twitter feed. Apparently he said, "You can't say the sky's the limit when people are on the moon."
I love him. I wish I just had the actual audio of that. Wish I had that.
Did you see there was a clip circulating on Twitter where he was getting the Browns hyped up on Sunday before they played, and he said, "Play for the name on the helmet." Wait, we don't got a name on our helmet.
Jameis, thank you. Thank you for keeping us entertained this season amidst this, tough stretch for OU. Lesson Hayes, Kansas, throw deep to Thompson every play we don't run. I think more people are starting to get on board of give Brennan Thompson a chance. He had one target last week against Ole Miss. He brings something to the table that you really don't have at wide receiver. You haven't seen right now. He's got an elite skill set with his speed. He's got something that he can burn a defense with. Throw it to Brennan Thompson down the field. Give him more opportunities.
Recruiting Boomer checked in and said, "Caden Green didn't play against Bama, and my family and I laughed our butts off."
Nice. Very nice. I'm glad you had that. Glad you had that moment, if nothing else. 3-star UConn Bob. Damn, Tyler, at least Bird made an effort to hold. Brown can't even do that. WTF.
Who do you think the starting tackles for Oklahoma on Saturday are?
I don't think Spencer Brown will be one of the starting tackles. I guess, would that kind of give you your answer at the other two?
So then it's what, Howland and Tarquin?
Yeah.
If Spencer Brown starts the game, I might just walk out onto the middle of the field during play and have to be forcibly removed. Might just sit down at midfield until they forcibly remove me.
Wilkerson's bro, I literally might lose my mind if a player celebrates after an offensive touchdown. So everyone's going in with a super happy and positive mood going into this game on Saturday. What did we like, though, to swing it back just a little positive here before we get out of this hour? What did we like that Jackson Arnold did on Saturday? It was the best game played by an OU quarterback this year. I think, did even Brent say that last night? I had that take yesterday.
And I would agree with that.
What, picking up third downs, getting out of the pocket and using his feet? What did he do? What did he do best on Saturday?
I think he did a really good job of just taking what the defense gave him, and most of the time that was with his legs. They did a really bad job of containing him in the first half, and at a certain point he realized, hey, they're not going to spy me. If I can get outside the pocket, I can gain yardage pretty much every single snap, and he scrambled his way to 103 rushing yards on the day, which ultimately totaled out to 39 because of all the sacks. But I thought Jackson Arnold did a really, really good job of just taking what was there on Saturday. And that, to me, is an encouraging trend for him because obviously earlier in the season he was trying to force some stuff. He was trying to make plays that weren't really there. I think the interception that was intended for J.J. Hester, I should say, against Tennessee was kind of the Exhibit A in that regard, where you watch the play back and you're just thinking, where's he trying to go with that ball? So I think to see Jackson Arnold play a complete 60 minutes of football where every single time he was just really taking what was there, not trying to press, not trying to do too much on any given snap, that's encouraging because that's what this offense needs. You can't try to bite off more than you can chew. You can't put the ball in harm's way. You can't commit turnovers right now with the current state of this football program. So that, to me, was the most encouraging trend from J.A.
In case you missed it from the press conference, we covered it in the first segment, but just to kind of run that back. Gentry Williams out for the year. I don't think that really surprises anyone. Feels like, even though that wasn't official, kind of known that for the past few weeks now. So Gentry out for the year, super unfortunate. Sexton out, quote, a little while, in quotes, according to the head coach. And then Isaiah Autry has been promoted from the scout team, and it sounds like he's probably going to see some action this weekend against Maine. I don't think he necessarily starts, but might he get in the football game? Sure, yeah.
I would not mind if he started. I would actually give him my endorsement to start.
Well, yeah, you know how many people have already been at the point now, like, let's just get the youth movement going.
Yep. If
you're going to struggle, then let's struggle with a bit of a purpose for 2025 a little bit and get guys in there and get some game experience.
Yeah. To me, as soon as Oklahoma has a double-digit lead on Saturday, whatever that looks like, I think it's time to deploy the young guns. Because if you blow a double-digit lead to a team like Maine, you just deserve to have your program canceled forever. But that is going to provide, I think, a really awesome opportunity, hopefully for the entire second half and maybe even longer, for some of those freshmen to get some burn.
Mr. Thompson says, first time texting, I personally would love to hire the mad scientist Dana Holgorsen for offensive coordinator. He always had a great game against the Sooners. What is Dana doing nowadays? Is he an analyst for somebody?
I could not tell you. I have lost track of Dana Holgorsen.
His last year at Houston was 2023, correct? Yeah. What is Dana?
Yeah, it was
Holgorsen?
Last year.
Yeah,
last year was his last year at Houston.
He's at TCU right now. Is where he's at.
Oh, okay. Hanging with Sonny Dykes.
I don't think that Dana Holgorsen is going to be your next offensive coordinator. I would be very, very surprised if Dana is your next OC. It feels like to me the direction that they're going to go, or at least I don't know the main targets they're going to pursue. A very dynamic recruiter and a guy who I don't know, not necessarily 32 years old or anything, but a guy that maybe skews a little bit younger as an offensive coordinator. So Dana Holgorsen, has he done some great things offensively? He has. I don't think though that he's going to be a serious candidate for the OU OC job. Would you tend to agree with that?
I would. Alex from Manford says, yeah, let's hire somebody that had good games against OU's terrible defense. Yeah, Dana and West Virginia obviously dropped 56 points on OU in 2018. Pretty much everybody was dropping 56 points against OU in 2018. Though.
Dana did drop a lot of points against OU at West Virginia, but I felt like he lost every single one of them. He
did.
Dropped 50 against OU in 2012 and lost, correct?
Well, West Virginia did not beat Oklahoma until Dana was gone.
Yep. 2022.
Yeah, 2022 was West Virginia's first win against Oklahoma as a Big 12 program.
Dana is a hair model, says 2-star Lost City Sooner. His hair would be quite the sight during football games when he's on the sideline.
Yeah, and if Dana was Oklahoma's OC, it would get memed into oblivion by the T-Sips and all the other elitist fan bases. Looks like an Oklahoma OC to me.
Yeah, he ain't going to be a serious candidate. All right, the rest